and welcome to week 5, day 1 of the Oceanic Pro League. As you can see, OPL Legend match is tonight. That was the title bout. Hello, everyone. I'm Jake Spawn Tiberi. Joining me on the desk is Sin Coach Benzel, as well as the LPLs, Indiana Frosker and Black. How you guys going?
Yeah, not too bad, thanks.
Frosk, how you going down the end of the desk?
I'm excellent.
That's good. Benzel, it's on everyone's mind. We brought you back on the desk, you know. We had a chat the first time you were around. You said lots of roster changes into Sin, not time for panic. It's week 5, mate. Halfway through the season. Is it time to panic yet?
Panic's a very strong word. I wouldn't go that far just yet. But I think we just have to look at the future, look at what's working, and try and replicate it in future games.
And what is it that's working? Because, you know, we were pretty critical of, I guess, Sin's play style. You went back to the 1-3-1 style. Rai did carry you through to a win. Is this something that's sustainable? Do you want to be more than, I guess, that 1-3-1 macro-heavy team that we continue to go back to for Sin?
We've certainly tried. As you can see, pretty much everything else isn't working right now. But, you know, we're trying to adapt as much as possible.
Well, best of luck to you guys as well. Of course, good friends of the show have Juves and Rai over there, so hopefully they can get it back together. As we have a look at this week's schedule, you can see tonight we are kicking it off with the OPL Legend match. Helens are going to take to the Rift against Chiefs Esports before Direwolves play off against Avant-Garde tomorrow night, kicking off at 6 p.m. Australian Eastern Standard Time. Tate and Mine will go up against the Slumping Legacy before Sin Gaming take to the Rift against Abyss Esports. We'll see how that affects all of the ladder at the moment as we actually take a look at the predictions, because the casters off screen have been trying to get some predictions together. And Frosk, you're still atop of the table. We'll get to that in a second. I want to know what the heck is happening with Rusty. This guy casts every single game, is the Oceanic expert. How the heck is he coming last still?
The same problem that I had in kind of my 2 losses is that we trusted Sin.
Well, have you got a rebuttal to that? Like, they've been going on about it all week. You know, they're finally off the bandwagon, I think, this week, it's fair to say. Are you going to make them pay for, you know, abandoning the one true team?
It seems that the only time we win is when everyone bets against us,
So you're actually happy with this? Oh, that's good. All right, guys, let's jump into the OPL Legend match of the week. It is going to be Helens taking on the Chiefs. On the blue side of Summoner's Rift, it is the Chiefs Esports Club. Swiper in the top lane, Spooks their jungler, Swiffer in the mid lane, Radier their AD carry, and Ejim their support. And of course, they are going up against another winless team. It is going to be Helens Esports. Ryu in the top lane, Impaired their jungler, Bomb their mid laner, Frey and Luna are their AD carry and support. And I want to kick this one off with talking about the Chiefs, because I'm going to say it, they're undefeated, but this is a slump that we haven't seen since Swiffer got back. They're playing some pretty sloppy League of Legends right now, guys.
And I think it's also kind of where they're prioritizing their power points right now. So the Chiefs, when you think about them, most people think of their all-star AD carry, Radier, him being able to step up to be that big carry. And the meta right now just doesn't really suit it as much as it has in the past. And Swiffer is actually their big performing member. So I think if the Chiefs actually just go all in on Swiffer instead of pulling their attention onto Radier, that they'll actually perform a lot better than they have been.
All right, cool. So with that in mind, I have a question for you. Is he the best mid laner in the OPL right now? Because stats would say that he's getting quite close, because that's against Avant-Garde Triple, who is another mid laner we're going to get to see go toe-to-toe tonight against Fantix. But Swiffer's playing quite good League of Legends. What's your thoughts on this right now, Benzel?
I wouldn't just say he's the best mid laner. I'd say he's probably the best player right now in the league.
And what makes him the best player? Because, you know, I've been trying to sell this stock for quite some time. People were sticking around with Radier. What is it about Swiffer?
He's got that really good quality of being able, you know, if you give him an inch, he'll take a mile. I think that's just so rare in players in this region.
And it certainly suits the meta right now, Frosk. I know that you're a big fan of control mid laners, and he doesn't really have any champion pool issues, can play everything.
Yeah, it's his flexibility, it's his responsive time on the map. I mean, he's just the all-in-one package, a very cerebral player. When you watch Swiffer, you can tell that he's thinking, you can tell that he's planning out his next move, and then his mechanics match.
And I guess it also is very handy having a player that he's played with for 3-4 years in his back pocket. In Spooks, we'll be going up against Impaired tonight, another jungler that we look to. Is there anything Elliot or Impaired can do to kind of upset the Chiefs? Is it about ganking out Swiffer? Is it about shutting down their bottom lane that's been a little bit over-aggressive at times?
Well, Elliot's certainly a player who can go off. I think when you see Helens do well, it's really when Impaired just gets one of his carry junglers and takes over the game.
No, I agree. I think Helens' win condition is an empowering Impaired, but that does mean that their side lanes have to be more consistent than they have been in the past, particularly their top lane. I feel like Ryu, he's very hit or miss, and 6.11 actually should be a patch for him, so I'd like to see him go back to his carry style.
All right, and what is it about Ryu? Because this is a player that, you know, week in and week out, we check in on how he's going, and he just seems to be kind of flatlining at the moment. He's not doing anything really poor. He's not doing anything amazing, but that's not enough out of someone that was an all-star top laner last year.
That's going all the way back to last year. But
Yeah.
I would say he looks fairly similar to last split, really.
Okay, so it's just that he's just petered out, hasn't really been able to get it done. If it is going to be a part of the map then that you would expect Helens to be able to exploit, it's not the top lane, obviously. Where are you looking?
I think rather than look at their strengths, their best opportunity is to look at Chiefs' weaknesses, and their bot lane has been looking a bit sketchy right now. And if Impaired can get snowballing, it's really going to be around that bot lane, I think.
All right, cool. So looking maybe to target out Radier, do you think that Frey has it in him for us to be able to get that done?
I'm not going to say no, just because I think that Frey and Radier are just kind of, right now, playing almost a janitorial role, especially in like their team dynamics. It's just, the Chiefs have already shown that they have so many different options that if their bot lane does fall, as they did against Tainted Minds, that they can just look for a lane swap and beat you another way. So I do agree that, look for the Chiefs' weaknesses, but comparatively to the rest of the OPL, they're just so far above and beyond everyone else. It's like, what weaknesses at this point? Can they even execute on it?
Cool. So it seems like we're probably going towards Chiefs victories. Frost, coming to you first. Is it a 2-0 or is it a 2-1? What do you think?
I think it's a 2-0. My issue right now with the Hellions is that they just really don't understand their own win conditions, and they don't set themselves up for success, which I think goes back to supporting Impaired in that jungle.
And Pencil?
Yeah, I'll go a clean 2-0. Don't think it'll take an hour.
All right, there you go. We're going to be having sub 30-minute games. Of course, guys, both teams are fighting their way back towards the OPL Grand Final. It is August 13 in Queensland, Brisbane. Remember to get along that. Purchase your tickets. They're on sale right now. And if you can't make it over to Queensland, we do have you covered. Our good friends over at Hoyts have set up some cinemas in your local city. So grab your mates, head down over to your local Hoyts and get along to the OPL Grand Final. However, you've heard enough from us. Rogie and Rusty are waiting alongside to take us into Game 1.
Thanks so much, Spawn. And the desk says that Swiffer potentially the best player in the OPL. Not only that, they say also sub 30-minute games. Hellions, they've got quite a fight ahead of them, Rusty.
Well, it's safe to say that a team without a win against the undefeated team are going to be coming into this as the heavy underdogs at best. So it's always going to be a struggle. But Hellions are a side that could show up to play. We just don't know which iteration of them will, because inconsistency mars this team. They really just haven't shown up this split yet.
Frostgrown did point out that there might be a little bit of potential to get some action going in that bot lane for the Hellions. Radier and the Sport haven't been performing, EGM haven't been performing to their potential as of late.
Yeah, absolutely. I think the bottom lane of the Chiefs, though the meta now kind of urges them to go towards a facilitative role, the Chiefs as a team still have this tendency to default to getting Radier and EGM going, and that could ultimately be the Chiefs' undoing if they don't learn how to adapt to this and actually fix the meta shift in their favor.
We know the likes of Swiffer doesn't really need too much help to get the ball rolling, but as we do get into the pick and man, we see Victor going to be taken straight away, followed up by the Azir.
Yeah, so 2 mid lane bans happening thus far. Of course, the Victor ban by Swiffer. It's one of Bomb's better champions that he has consistently played. It's not a surprise to see them looking to focus Bomb either, as he is a very lane-centric mid laner.
So we've taken away some of the opposition's favorable champions. Now it's time to get rid of the ones you just don't want to play against, and nothing says that more than Swain and Ryze.
Yeah, remembering that with this last ban of the Chiefs, all of the junglers are still up and Vladimir. So with Hellions at the last ban, you would imagine they'll look towards the Bloodlord.
Sure. Makes a lot of sense. Trundle being the last ban from Chiefs here. So Aurelia actually coming out of Hellions. So Vlad's still open for this first rotation.
And they give it over willingly.
Insta-lock. That's straight in. No question asked there. Chiefs say, you give us Vlad, we'll take the Vlad.
Yeah, so red side, Hellions usually would be banning strong champions. Ryze makes sense there. Aurelia less so.
Sure.
But it's away from Swiper. And of course, Aurelia is still a great champion. We're on 6.11. Does a lot of work and needs to be addressed. I feel like giving over Vladimir, though, is still a mistake.
Definitely right here, but Hellions, they answer with 2 picks of their own. Of course, Ezreal and Rek'Sai, since we've seen Kindred being toned down a little bit, Rek'Sai has kind of risen up as the go-to jungler, and Ezreal, of course, kind of similar story here with Lucian receiving a few hits of the nerf pad, has risen to prominence.
Yeah, absolutely. So Ezreal is strong and Rek'Sai definitely S tier. Doesn't mean that Kindred and Nidalee can't be picked, however.
That's right.
Spooks could very easily look towards these champions. Team composition dependent. I don't think they need to straight up lock that one in yet unless they need to. They don't want to reveal what their actual strategy revolves around.
We see Chiefs, they do lock in that Kindred, so no Nidalee tonight. And also the Ashe onto Radier, so going to be that control-ish style AD carry, not so much as the hyper carry we're used to seeing.
And something that Radier has played a fair bit of is the Ashe. Definitely even last split we saw a couple of games of that. Able to initiate and I believe beat Legacy with it, so
there you go.
Always going to be a strong option to look at. Helens have locked in one of their two.
Let's see if Luna's shields are on point with that Braum to avoid any of those enchanted crystal arrows that come barreling down the lane.
Yeah, Braum always going to be a good option. Not going to be defensive, however, in that support role. Can block skill shots at the very least. Always going to leave your AD carry potentially open to danger. I think the mid laner is the more important thing.
Sure.
What they actually go towards. That's usually a champion that needs a cleanse or is safe enough to perhaps dodge it.
5 seconds left on the clock. Hellions just deciding they are going to stick with the Freljord theme here and lock in that Anivia.
Yeah, very icy battlefield at the moment being assembled. The Anivia pick is not often seen. You have to remember that Anivia did get some touch-ups in 6-11 to make her life a lot better as a mid-lane utility tool. Anivia is always going to be game-changing as it progresses later and later with the wall in particular.
That's exactly right here. So be interesting to see if they choose to send this Vladimir up against it or chuck it in the top lane. Very versatile champion is the Bloodlord himself. But now Chiefs are met with an interesting decision here of what they want to go with for their last two picks.
Yeah, so yet to lock in their support. Could very easily be something like the Bard. However, Braum does block the stun. His shield is available, so they may look for something defensive.
We've been seeing a lot of Karma out of supports recently who prefer those AP-esque styles, and it will be that same for Ejim, and looks like Swiper will be getting himself the Maokai in the top lane.
Yeah, one of the cool things about this lane that the Chiefs have actually compiled for themselves in bottom is simply that Ashe can initiate and Karma can peel back, can peel forward. It enables your team to do multiple purposes. And because your support isn't the engaged tool, Ashe compensates for that effectively. Same thing with Vladimir. Yeah. Maokai's got the complementary CC to actually round things out nicely with teleport.
Look, a Vlad with Ghost and the Karma speed boost is going to be nigh unstoppable. Very difficult for the members of Hellion to kind of disperse once that Bloodlord gets amongst them.
That's right. With Ryu yet to pick on this side, don't let the Leona actually fool you. Braum's already there. We have to see what Ryu wants to play. Knowing who he's against now could make life a lot easier if he wants to default to something like the Echo, perhaps.
Could see a Fizz here. He's played it in the past.
No, definitely possible.
Couple seconds left on the clock, and it looks like it will be the top lane Fizz coming through here for Rai.
Now, so Ryu locks in the Fizz. Hellions have got a very slow, heavy team, to say the least. A bit of assassination threat. They do still have a front line, thankfully, as Rek'Sai being picked in the jungle role enables your solo lanes to be more carry-focused, and Fizz is entirely capable of taking people out. Remember that Trinity Force also, is that 6.12? It's 6.11. Yeah, has been changed, so Fizz liking that at the moment.
Definitely. Interesting to see if he picks up Ignite here during the final countdown as Vlad won. Oh, they got 2 Ignites already, taking that one onto Luna and Bomb. So they should have more than enough tools to deal with that healing that Vlad just dishes out.
You'd think so. 2 Ignites would be able to cater to that.
So, yeah.
See how they
maybe even
the
Morellonomicon on the Anivia as well, just to be safe.
As the champion that builds Rod of Ages, I sympathize with him. Yeah. Having to go towards that would be foolish. So I agree with the Ignite actually as a pickup.
Sure.
Does mean he's missing a teleport, however.
That's a great point. A lot of Anivias do like to be a little bit more mobile around the map, potentially walling people off and really making their life a living hell.
So yeah, he's not going to be able to rotate as effectively, but thankfully Vladimir doesn't either as he runs the Ghost.
He's got that Ghost, like you mentioned. He's going to be zipping up and down the lanes, but both teams have locked in their lineups. Rusty, do you think that Hellions could actually do this now? Just judging off the lineups.
Judging off the champions. I actually do quite like what the Hellions have put together.
Sure.
Their engage is almost lacking. It's very dependent on Ryu getting a good flank on that Fizz.
Yeah, well, remember guys, get onto Twitter, hashtag CHF win or hashtag HLN win to show your support for these teams and give the Hellions a bit of love that they need.
They absolutely need a bit of love. Struggling at the moment, 0-3.
Sure.
If they lose this series, they'll actually be tied at the bottom of the table, I believe, with Sin. So definitely need to start getting it together soon.
Well, hopefully they give us an entertaining performance nonetheless. They've got a few good champions to make that happen. Looking forward to the Shark coming out of Rai on top of the Anivia stun with Ezreal in the backline, just hitting everyone and Braum with a massive knock-up. So could be good.
Yeah, they're quite good at coupling their crowd control together the more you think about it, right? Having that Anivia to wall people off means that the fish, firstly, from Fizz is easier to hit.
Sure.
Because they either have to burn a summoner to get over the wall, or they walk in a predictable way. As is the Anivia stun, as is the Braum Q, as is even the Ezreal's Q for a slow. So if they get one piece of crowd control on, you would look at Hellions and say the rest of them could follow very naturally and seamlessly to boot. However, catching the Chiefs is not the easiest of jobs, as Ejim's making a bit of money
Yeah, these guys just trading off, but remember, Ejim, he does have that mastery point allowing him to get that little bit extra gold, of course, on top of the item. But taking a look at Swiffer's Keystone Mastery, he really wants to move fast this game. He's got that Storm Raider Surge on top of Ghost, on top of Karma. It's going to be like a Hecarim.
All about that speed.
That's
The best
it.
part is the rest of the team enables him to not die as effectively as well. You can work around the Lamb's Respite from Spooks in particular.
Sure.
Ejim, of course, with those shields that not only speed up, they give you a shield. Swiper with the magic damage reduction and AoE if he's standing near him also. And just having that frontline threat, I feel like Swiffer is surprisingly safe and protected for what is a frontline mage.
A lot of utilities here, but I like the positioning by the Chiefs down in that bot lane. They're not going to be doing their camp, but waiting, setting a trap for go for that early damage.
Yeah, so this is
Cheeky.
actually a trap. Usually you'll see the AD carry position aggressively or the support maybe to look in and engage. What they've done is they've bowed their time.
This feels like Season 1 strats back in the
They
day.
don't have a whole lot of kill threat. They have a lot
Sure.
of damage though.
Oh, there we go with a nice volley. Forces a flash already out of Frey, and really nothing from this Helens lane to retaliate with.
Yeah, Chiefs sacrifice the first 3 CS, so they get the experience. Then I need to reliably zone away, because actually, realistically, if Frey gets to level 2, it should be okay.
Frey, despite the big health disparity, wants to go in and trade here, but does have that grasp of the Undying. So keep himself healed up. He also running the Corrupting Potion, so shouldn't be too much for him to handle.
So no Ignite to be seen from Ryu, as you alluded towards earlier. Going to have a bit less pressure in the 1v1. Fizz has always done decently into Maokai though. You just need to out-damage what the sustain would be. We'll see how Ryu plays that out, because considering he just lost the level 1 trade, doesn't exactly bode well.
It's going to be a difficult time nonetheless, as we see Spooks now with a more reliable Marks of the Kindred spawning, able to accurately predict where that's going to go. Gets himself a very easy and early one. As you see Impaired just going to be sneaking in here. He also gets eyes on where the Mark will be spawning, so assumed that that's where Spooks will be heading, but sticking around after chucking down a ward on this red buff.
Yeah, so he knows that the mark is cleared as of this moment.
Sure.
But he has that ward that lasts a minute. I actually like what Impaired's immediate reaction is right now. He knows that the pressure is on in the bottom lane, but the stack of
There's
minions
so many
is
there. And
way
look
too
at
large.
the damage onto Frey. He's really feeling the pressure here, and Impaired, he's forced to recall off that. Maybe not just yet.
No, Impaired doesn't really want to recall, but the Chiefs will dive him if they look for him at all. And actually, Impaired's just losing his jungle by staying now.
No,
He had an opportunity,
Yeah.
but he's outright wasted that opportunity.
Still there. They could be going for the 2v1 here. Radiant might actually be left out to dry here as a knock-up comes through. One more auto attack should do it, and that's first blood going to Impaired for the Hellions.
Yeah, so the patience pays off because they just assumed he wasn't near the area. Hawkshot used, blue buff attempted to be stolen. And whilst I believe they got that buff, they still get a kill in the back pocket of Impaired, so he comes out ahead.
Radiant loses his life for a blue. I'm sure Spooks is feeling good about that one. Not sure Radiant though, but he is on Ashe, so once he has level 6, he'll still be useful throughout the game.
Absolutely.
Another stack for Spooks.
2 early stacks. You have to commend him on those efforts.
Bomb might be in trouble as here comes a Kindred Flash, gets down the slow. A few more auto attacks should do it. There is Bomb in the Eggnivia. No hope for that one, and the first kill. The Chiefs go over to Spooks.
The poor bloke, he
Yep.
had no way to get out. Ghost and Flash are the summoner spells of choice. And the
Use them
Ghost
both.
doesn't do a lot when you're against a Vladimir pool.
Not when you're in air guys up.
Yeah, nor does it do anything against damage. So I will say, not to mention, he is against an Ashe. You have to question his summoner spell choice here.
A great point. One Ashe ulti and the cleanse could make all the difference, but
Or the barrier for a Vladimir burst as well. It's timely with the Hemoplague.
we'll just have to wait and see if this Ghost pays dividends. That movement speed is very useful. We've been seeing it rise in popularity since. Getting slightly buffed here, but in the bot lane, both the supports just throwing out their Qs off cooldown, trying to get that little bit of extra damage in.
And you know what's funny is even though the first blood went to Impaired, he's the only one that has a benefit from that pretty much entirely. The CS was closed between Frey and Raider.
Frey hasn't backed yet, so he's only sitting on his door as well. Raider's got himself a nice bag of potions and some boots to follow that one.
Yeah, so he came back to lane perfectly fine. And they're now still actually winning this lane. Force them to recall and hard push would mean they're going to lose a lot more farm in on top of that. And because Spook's got a successful gank off, he's actually still keeping up with Impaired. So the net gain of the Hellions was effectively 0.
You see Swiffer on his way to the Spirit Residual. Of course, Bomb has to stack up that tier, and if you're very, very mana dependent, needs to make sure that mana pool is large to keep the Glacial Storm running at all times.
Definitely mana dependent, but opting towards that tier early means that he just can't win lane at all.
Yeah, no combat stats at all, just mana. Even the mana regen has been lessened.
But even a Catalyst, you'd say, is it's a flat mana pool.
That's a great point.
Doesn't outright help at those. Impaired's watching.
Swiper does get spotted out by Impaired, but is level 6 to the level 5 Rek'Sai, so
He wants the mark.
he's going to get denied away here.
Spooks is casually
just
walking
blatantly
through.
running through mid lane saying, I'm coming to that mark, Impaired. Get out.
Yeah.
Looks like he shouldn't be going for it just yet, making his way up top. Swiper just defending his own pink ward. Pink ward do now regenerate health, so should no one else go for that. Swiper feeling good about that.
Yeah, absolutely, but they know the pink is there, so gank pathing will be very obvious here from Impaired if he chooses to do so.
Sure.
Exactly.
Swiffer actually getting blocked in the pool. Is he alright? Gonna try and walk his way out of that one, but very interesting interaction to say the least, Rusty.
What a disaster. He tried to like pull and walk through the wall.
Yeah.
I'm not even sure, honestly.
No, you can't go under walls as Vladimir's pool, so I guess the same rule applies to Anivia.
But should. He still found his way through it.
That was quite funny indeed.
That was interesting. But nonetheless, he's alive. Nothing had to be used.
Despite Bomb giving up an early death, is still staying competitive with the CS. Also, his tier pickup hasn't really cost him too much just yet, as we haven't seen Spooks come around for the return gank. Ghost is back available for Bomb, so Swift is doing a great job of avoiding any of that follow-up damage. The stun does hit, but Bomb with not too much damage to answer back.
Yeah, remembering that the tier, whilst he's not out of this lane, means his damage is still less.
No real kill pressure.
Vladimir has plenty of sustain to compensate for the poke that's coming out of an Anivia. But yes, you are right, he is not doing too poorly. Though, Bomb is very much a laning player. He doesn't usually leave the laning phase. Swiffer has tendencies greater than that of Bomb. And
Sure.
likes to roam a fair bit. Highest kill participation in his team, Swiffer,
Very impressive to say that.
by about 25%. He's involved in 3/4 of the kills.
Really showing why everyone has been banding together and saying Swiffer for #1. Picking himself up some Merc treads after getting the blue buff off Spooks, but does Vlad really need a blue buff? The AP is nice, but I'm sure the Kindred would like to hop around a little bit extra.
AP and cooldown reduction, it's just one of those Swiffer things, you know?
Very cool.
The real battle isn't who gets the small part of the blue
Yeah.
buff, the 20 gold little sentries.
2 pink wards actually spotting out Impaired here. Might be able to clear this one away. Ejim coming over to provide some harass. Luna poised aggressively, still in
Didn't
level
check
5
the
on this
other
Braum
bush.
though.
Always check the other bush.
Wandering past that pink ward, so both Radiant and Ejim going to be feeling good about having that extra line of defense. And since Impaired didn't check it, he might try that same gank path again.
He may, yeah, and that could be the concern, giving Spooks the knowledge that he's even in the area. It's already going to be a problem.
Radiant doing a great job of CSing in this lane, about 10 ahead right now despite the early death, and Spooks already going back for that second rotation of the blue buff, but there are quite a few members here. Teleport actually coming through in the back. Here comes Swiffer in the front. The ult lands onto 3 members. Impaired in a world of hurt, trying to get out of that one. There is the proc from the Vlad ult. Hema Plague not going to be killing anyone just yet, but health bars are low.
Yeah, so the Vlad ult was on and everybody's low enough that they can look towards the free objective. Still a good decision from the Chiefs to fight it. The swipe has found
Not
you.
over yet. Luna not level 6 with no escape options. Jumps to the minion. The stun goes down, but now Frey actually has to turn around. Dragon gets secured, but could have been a potential extra kill on top of that.
It could have been, but Big Swips does not have enough damage to find him the kill. Everyone settles down. Helens were able to sack the Drake early, so they can get back to lanes quicker and maybe start some pushes, start some farm. Realistically, the problem is still going to be in this bottom lane. Frey and Luna are struggling compared to Raider, and he's just a facilitator.
Be able to get this tower, no problem. So first tower of the game does go down in favor of the Chiefs. Nothing that Frey can really do except sit back and watch his structures crumble away. Good overall play by Chiefs around that blue buff, getting themselves a very good advantage.
Yeah, absolutely are. The Chiefs still looking strong in this first game, considering we're only 11 minutes in. The goal lead's not different by a whole lot, yet it still feels like the Chiefs are winning.
They're playing the map very well, using the jungle camps and objectives to really facilitate their play style and force the Hellions to answer early on.
Yeah, Helens' team composition would favor a bit of scaling, though. Also, Vladimir seems to be strong at all stages of the game, as is Vladimir. The rest of the team of the Hellions want 2 items on Frey, maybe an item and a half or 2 on Bomb. And bridging that gap is where they're actually starting to fall behind. In terms of drafting, you would say that Hellions have been a little bit greedy in that respect. And they are starting to pay for it.
Bomb finally got himself that catalyst, so should have an easier time sustaining in that lane as we see the lane swap coming down from Chiefs here. Swiper making his way to the bot lane. Easy 3v1 defend, but it's actually a 4v1, but here comes Rai, flashes the Shark. Walks back in.
Good flash.
Oh no, we just saw a 4v1, we see a 3v1 now. Bob, does he have the egg available? Because that's the only saving grace here, but it may not be enough as Egypt tanks up the tower. Actually, the Lamb's Respite going down as well, but nonetheless, a secured kill.
And I must admit that was very well done from Spooks to have the Lamb's Respite down and not be in range of Bomb, but still maintaining his auto attack range. So he's definitely holding his Archie, checking the ranges there. But they get themselves an easy kill. The Chiefs also initiating the lane swap that you mentioned. The problem was that Ezreal had no mana in his back pocket. And they still got the turret at least.
We'll see a little bit of a brawl down in the bot lane, but Rai just forces the Maokai ultimate back off after that one. Chiefs, though, about 2,000 gold in the lead currently. 2 kills to 1 and an extra tower. They did get that one up in the top lane. Raider was just allowed some free time.
Yeah, Raider's still definitely getting towards his big items that he needs. And from the looks of it, the cooldown reduction route.
Okay.
Where he appears to want to go, not the damage dealing route with the Infinity Edge.
Knows his position in the team on that Ashe. It's all just throw out ultis, make the picks happen.
Yeah, well, he knows his role in the team. And speaking of...
Oh, the first ulti of the game does land down onto Bomb. A whiffed Braum ultimate here, but now the no egg Anivia should go down here. The wall actually providing him a little bit of safety.
Now gets out alive, even though it was just barely. Hellions were here to respond in time, so the arrow was good. It wasn't good enough, and yeah, I was about to comment on that.
Yeah, so Fizz actually picked himself up the Wit's End, an item I haven't seen in a very, very long time.
Of course, it has seen some touch-up.
Yeah.
So it's a little bit better at the moment. People have been harping on about the capabilities of a Fizz with the Wit's End. I don't know
to see it.
Rushing it is that great. I've seen a couple of Trinity Force Fizzes lately.
Sure.
But the Wit's End is I want to deal damage, have attack speed, and not take as much as a Trinity Force approach. You lose a lot of mobility, but Fizz naturally has a fair chunk of that anyway.
A lot of magic damage on the side of Chief, so can understand where he's coming from here. But it does require those auto attack stacks to build up to really get the maximum value out of the item. So it's going to be hard for him when he's got a Swiffer in pool, Swiper on top of him, and
I mean, in a
advance.
team fight, like, you're absolutely correct.
Sure.
But I don't know if Ryu's looking that heavily at a team fight by going the Wit's End. It means that
Okay.
Swiper will be good against him. Like, Ryu's going to be comfortable with the 1v1. He might be able to take him out in said 1v1. And if they send Swiffer there, he at least still has magic resistance as an early item purchase. Even if he went from here to more MR, still be decent. It's just that team fighting that you mentioned. Yeah, he's going to have a rough time. But if he can connect with Raider, he's going to be too tanky from the other members.
Ped takes away the blue buff. Egypt doesn't get the snare off in time. The tunnel comes through, but Chiefs stacking a lot of members up in this mid lane. Looks like they've got their sight set. The arrow goes for the field goal here as the wall providing the safety they need to walk on out.
Yeah, the arrow actually a little bit whiffed there. Whilst it was slightly dodged, it was only slightly dodged. He didn't aim in the correct angle.
Chiefs get themselves a tower off the back of that, though, so the pressure was enough.
Yeah, it absolutely was. So the Chiefs are able to settle the map down now. Do as they would like with the dragon up in 40 seconds. It may not be an influential type of dragon.
Sure.
But it's still good to take it.
Dragon nonetheless. They already got themselves a Mountain Drake to their name, so you can see why these towers are so easy to take down while after they've scared all the members of Hellions off it. And Impaired on split push duty here, or more of control duty as Swiper just threatening the lane constantly.
one of the other interesting perks while we were talking about the Wits End before that it will give you by rushing that one is that you're not going for the Trinity Force build. It means you can still get the Iceborne Gauntlet.
Oh, yeah.
Which is nice because you have that AoE slow there. You can catch people still effectively, and it compensates for the mobility that the Trinity Force would give you. It's a happy medium between I want to do damage and be a split push threat. I want to be a...
Despite the Drake not being a favourite one, Chiefs take that one off cooldown nonetheless, so really demonstrating their map control at the moment.
Not a substantial amount allotted towards the Drake being taken. Of course, the two-man in Vision. Swiffer's pretty much Vladimir. So
they're really struggling to stop this Swiffer Vlad from positioning where he chooses. Swiper does avoid the knockup, gets hit by the Brom Q on the back, forced off the tower, so Helens. The same can be said on the opposite side of the map as 4 members of Chiefs. They've made their way down for this bottom inner, and there's really no one in position to stop it.
Yeah, and they're a Kindred comp, so they have a lot of damage.
4 ranged champions.
Yeah, exactly. Easy pickup.
In the top lane, it does fall, but an outer for an inner, always an unfavorable trade. So the Hellions need to find a way to start equalizing these. Chiefs are getting themselves further and further ahead. That 2k gold has risen to about 3. Still only 17 minutes in the game, so it's early. That's when the gold matters the most.
Yeah, well, Chiefs are basically just beating them in slow motion right now. That's the big concern for Helens is they're getting towards these item spikes, but the question is how long will it take and how big will the lead be before that actually happens? And Nivea's not far off. Ezreal's not far off. And Ryu's just doing his thing, honestly, with items. He should be fine as it is.
Trying to buy themselves as much time as possible for these carries to get themselves scaled up and ready to fight. But Chiefs understand this, I'm sure, which seems to be why they're playing the map so well. Getting themselves that extra gold advantages from the structures. 4 towers at the moment as well. To the Hellions too. As we see Impaired Luna just taking away the crab, trying to pick off gold where he can, as his entire jungle is being cleared by some of the laners here. He just can't seem to stand up against the Vlad.
I don't know many things that can stand up against the Vlad. He's banned for a reason. I think it's safe to say.
That's Vlad, right?
Yeah, Helion's disregarding that and opting to ban even a 0 over it. I guess it's a sign of respect, but it's also a sign of disrespect because Vladimir was there. Hellions were on blue side, 100% ban what they did. Here we are.
Once again, Chiefs beat Hellions to the punch with 3 members. The duo bot and the jungler just taking these turrets with ease, but Hellions do answer with their own. It seems like they're really calling the bluff here. Swiper, he's forced to spend as much time as he can, waste that time. He does get taken out, but how much will it buy them as now the Chiefs members, they are on the inhibitor turret. No more minions left, but that Karma Shield really doing work, and now they're on the inhibitor. It's up to Hellions to get back in time.
One's gone, two's gone.
Oh no, the AoE stops 2 recalls. This is huge. A perfect ultimate from Radiant. It may have bought them the time they need to get this inhibitor, and it does. Now can Chiefs be stopped getting out of the base? They've got that Karma speed, and no one from Hellions can answer.
Yeah, free inhibitor actually taken. The cross map,
Swift is in the mid lane still, just pushing away.
Yeah, he is. That was very easily done from the Chiefs, you must admit. Almost felt too easy to take that inhibitor down. The perfect cross map arrow, as you mentioned, 2 people being cancelled from a recall.
So they want to go in onto Swiffer. He does have the pull available. The goes after, sidesteps that one back to full health. No chance they're taking down this Vlad.
No. It looked exciting, but I think the pull did more damage to him than anything else. So he gets all of his health back. Helion's now looking to make a play in the middle lane. Still against a wave clear of a Karma and a Vladimir. It's not that easy.
Group just 5 with only a few minions left. Tower down to half. There's the Shark onto Egypt. Shields it up, but a nice 5-man Hemo play. Here comes Swiper in the side, but it's the Vlad show right now. 1 kill. Looking to make some more. That is Radiant. Bomb gets Egg Impaired off the side. Has to go into full retreat. There's the arrow. The arcane shift doesn't matter. Egypt flashes in. Gets the snare. A free kill. Another one to Chiefs.
And Egypt barely living. I think it was a level up to keep him there. The Chiefs get a massive team fight. Swiffer executes flawlessly. Swiper gets in and the damage is done. 20 minutes and 40 seconds into this game. And they can just destroy this Baron's health bar with the Kindred.
Already a 5,000 gold advantage the Chiefs have in their back pocket. Now looking to secure this Baron Impaired. He can't even get there in time with the Thought. of stealing it away. 5 members now with the Baron buff. Like you said, Rusty, only 21 minutes in the game.
Very effectively done, and it all starts with
5
Swiffer. Absolutely hits everybody with that ultimate. The damage is unreal, and Swiper's positioning, even with just the ultimate running, is enough to compensate so that Helens could do nothing back in return. The easiest kills of the Chiefs' life, as the arrow also secures Frey's death, and I think it was Dangerous Game, actually, that kept him alive there at Egypt.
Every mastery point matters here, Rusty, as we see Rady has picked himself up that Runan's Hurricane, so does have a lot of crit, a lot of cooldown reduction, and now some damage.
You know, a lot of people ask me why Runan's Hurricane is even picked up on Ashe. If you've never played her and you press Q with Runan's Hurricane, you'll know exactly why.
Hopefully we get to see that this game. It's kind of the same when Jinx has one as well in Rocket form. It's
so satisfying.
And now it's really up to Hellions to play tower defense here. Which lane are they going to choose to sack? Because they've got super minions coming in the top, Baron empowered in the bot, and a Vladimir in the mid.
It's tower defense with a broken economy at the moment.
Sure.
They don't have enough towers actually put up to defend, so they'd have to play this next team fight flawlessly.
Look at that minion.
No mistakes are available for Helens or their game is over.
Well, look at Rady's positioning. Very, very bold here, but he's allowed to do it with so many minions. The ultimate from Braum comes out pure defensive as not a single bit of damage onto anyone out.
Dead.
Oh, Bomb, he just gets caught out of position. Rylu, right, and Imped trying to answer in the side of that one, but they're fighting on top of a Lamb's Respite. There is a Hemoplate. Frey goes down, Braum goes down, Ryu goes down, and this is looking to be game, Rusty.
22 minutes and 40 seconds into this game, and only Impaired stands. As the minions are crashing now, this should be game 1.
Yeah, super minions in the base on the Nexus turrets. Swiffer, Swiper, and Egypt all still alive. This Vlad 4-0-4, a perfect game for him. Fortunately missing out that 100% kill participation by just 1 assist or kill, but still looking great nonetheless.
Yeah, and as far as game 1s are concerned, all Impaired can do is dance. Very well-rounded, concise, and clear victory for the Chiefs, and you have to give them credit for that. We are looking at first place against 7th place, and it still felt like that, all things considered.
Yeah, they played the map perfectly, getting every single advantage that they could get away with, essentially forcing Hellions to those early skirmishes around the blue buff. So very well played to the Chiefs.
Yeah, absolutely. And you can even tell they start lane stopping when they know they're ahead. The Chiefs, they just snowballed that game really efficiently. And again, you have to give them so much credit.
Constantly forcing the Hellions to answer with turrets of their own. And every time it felt like it was an outer for an inner, and that kind of just snowballed at the end. The cross-map Ashe ult to stop the recalls. But that's enough for us. We're going to send it back to Spawn, the analyst desk, to break down game number 1.
Thanks so much, Rogi. And with that, a 23-minute and 10-second, I think, victory for the Chiefs Esports Club in Game 1 over the Hellions right now. And, you know, that was a pretty one-sided affair. And I guess we have to go back to the very start of the game. I mean, the Chiefs, they set up a cheeky brush camp at level 1. And, Bensel, you're saying that this is something that Oceanic clubs and, you know, worldwide, this is just seeing more and more play.
Yeah, it's like really common now that everyone knows that, you know, you're going to take a camp at level 1. We can get into this bush and see it on the screen shortly.
Yeah, so we'll bring it up on the screen. So the idea behind this is exactly what Bensel said. They've just done a camp, Chiefs haven't. So they're able to get into the brush early, and, you know, it just allows you to get so many advantages.
So you see them come out, they do immediate massive damage. There they go, they get the flash from Ezreal, and now that Luna and Frey have been chunked out as well, have burned all of their pots and that key summoner, it just means that Radier and Egypt have complete control of the lane. But it's not just bottom lane that affects, it immediately then impacts the jungle because Spooks looks for an invade since his bottom lane is so far ahead.
Yeah, so they are able to 3-buff Impaired, get him out of the game nice and early. But I do want to talk about one thing that you mentioned, you know, overzealous Chiefs bottom lane. We see another game where they get first blooded. Radier solo pushing a turret. Like, I mean, the 2 members were relatively low, but that's pretty inexcusable.
Yeah, I mean, we called it before the game that would be, if there was one thing that was suspect about them, it would be their bot lane overextending too much. And I think he just felt overconfident because they were chunked out that there was no chance of him getting ganked, and Chiefs overconfidence.
Yeah, it wasn't a fantastic play, but, you know, that's probably where the weaknesses ended for the Chiefs. I mean, across the map, otherwise they had 3 winning lanes, able to knock down turrets early. I do want to go towards the top lane because, you know, we've seen a lot out of Swiper this split for Oscar, and he's played a little bit of Aurelia. He's playing Alawi and Solo Q back on the Maokai, able to take the 1v1 versus the Fizz. That was a bit unexpected.
Yeah, especially because Fizz itemized into the Wits End, so trying to look to really negate a lot of what that Maokai is able to put out, and wasn't able to beat him in the 1v1. Their CS was actually even. A little bit of credit to Ryu, though. I know we were talking about this a bit backstage. I don't think he had enough time in the lane when the item was actually online to make a difference. And likewise, he didn't take the Ignite, taking the Flash teleport on the Fizz. So
I know you didn't like Eventual. Like, what was it about the Fizz build, the Ignite? Was it the no Trinity Force? Like, what was it exactly that you think that Ryu should have been forcing towards?
I just think if you're going to be playing Fizz, I don't really see why you should go Wits End. Like, if you're playing Fizz, then I feel you should be looking to snowball with Ignite and Triforce. If you're not going Ignite, then someone's going to camp your lane for you. You're going to dive at level 6, and they just didn't do any of that, so I don't see why you pick it.
So, Helens not able to play to their win conditions. The Chiefs were able to, at least for game 1. However, we do have a second game coming up just around the corner. Don't go anywhere, guys. In 3.5, we'll have game number 2 between the Chiefs and Helens.